Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Scott with Android Guys. I'm here with Luke.
Hey, everybody.
Luke, it's time to talk about phones
Yeah.
at a particular carrier.
Uh-huh.
We've done a couple of these, and today it is Simple Mobile's turn.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is discuss or choose a number of phones for consumers based off of different user types.
Sure.
And when it comes to MVNOs, it's usually a mixed bag. You can't look at every one of them and say they're all going to have the same phones.
Sure.
They may not all carry the same brands even.
Yeah.
So sometimes the question comes up from people that I would consider switching, but I don't know what the phone selection is like.
Right.
Or I need a new phone and it's not going to be compatible because it uses a different network.
Right.
So what we'll do is kind of pick out phones for entry-level needs,
Mm-hmm.
flagship, or top-of-the-line.
Right.
And then, depending on the carrier, we'll talk about something at maybe mid-range or best kind of all-around package.
Sure.
And then if there's anything else, if they offer a folding phone or something unique, something that's geared towards productivity, we'll kind of highlight that as well.
Okay.
So today for Simple Mobile, let's start with at the entry level.
Sure.
If I'm a consumer and I don't have high demands,
Mhm.
this is a phone that, I really don't care much for all the gaming and social media. I just want something I can actually use for text messages and phone calls and email and just kind of keep up to date with people. What did we end up picking here?
So with this one, we went with one that not necessarily known
Mm-hmm.
well. It's a good brand.
Yeah.
But this is the TCL A3.
Yeah.
So this is it's not a whole lot of bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll get you connected. It'll make calls. It'll do text messages. It's got multiple cameras.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing it doesn't have for an entry level, and this is kind of what we found with most of our MVNOs, is it's not going to have 5G.
Sure.
So that entry level, type that we've kind of made up is that person that doesn't necessarily care about the latest and greatest, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
need the fastest connection, doesn't need to do a whole bunch of stuff with their phones, but just wants to be able to do, the basics.
Yeah.
And have it work when it's supposed to work. And so, this one is just 4G LTE.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good little phone for the price that comes in at $39.99.
Yeah, for $40, and you're looking at a phone that's got, I believe, is it Android? Yeah, it's Android 11.
Yep.
And it's going to give you a 5.5-inch screen, which sounds pretty small, but I kind of am attracted to something at that size because it works well with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gig of storage, and this has a nice size battery, average cameras. I mean, nothing fancy, but really at $40, it's a really tough thing to beat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the TCL A3.
Mm-hmm.
Moving up, we'll go to the other end of the spectrum. At the top of the line, if we're saying, hey, what's one of the best phones available at Simple Mobile? I would like to get as much handset as I can. I care about, buying this device that's going to serve my needs, and then it's going to work for, hopefully a couple of years. We picked the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about that one.
So the S21 Plus is, it's not it's not the brand, it's not the newest model from
Right.
Samsung. So, we have the S22, but the S21 Plus, it's got that bigger screen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Plus model, and it gives you every feature, that you kind of want in a device, every feature that you can get. Now, one thing, because it's the 21, you're not going to have maybe as fast of charging or
Yeah.
some of those features, but your multiple cameras,
4K video
4K
capability.
video.
Yeah.
You're going to be the latest version of Android. Big battery.
Yeah, and Samsung commits to multiple years of software support,
Right.
upgrades, patches, major Android updates.
Right.
So you're getting peace of mind in that. So not just the, you know, the 21, 22, that debate actually from anecdotally, I find a lot of people that say, I'd rather actually have last year's model because it's that much cheaper. It's kind of like a car. If I can get yesterday's version and save a couple $100, I don't really need everything that comes with that. But the Galaxy S21 Plus, and again, that's a 5G phone, 6.7-inch display, 8 gigabytes of RAM, lots of storage, and then you got little things, the multiple cameras, and it's a premium design too. It looks very nice and has I'm not sure what colors they offer it in, but it is one of the prettier phones if you have one of those. So I see it here in silver. I might have it in another color. So right now that one runs about $999.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little less expensive than the top of the line.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, if you want that, you can get those phones direct from the manufacturer, and they will work with the carrier. Simple Mobile does provide, a bring your own phone policy.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about flagships too, you're getting smaller things like the ability to, share your battery, reverse charging or power sharing. You have, the screen's not only big, but it's got a high refresh rate, high dynamic range. It's, very bright. It kind of pushes the needle in a whole bunch of directions. So that's the flagship one that we picked, the Galaxy S21 Plus. So let's go to all around. If somebody says, hey man, I'm looking for something that is, something in the middle, something that's kind of like a sweet spot kind of phone.
Sure.
I'm willing to spend a little bit of money up to a certain point, but then I don't want to be getting into kind of like overkill. I don't want to buy more than I need or spend any more money. I'm looking for something that's, what's going to last me for a while. Do you know what we picked for that one?
Yeah, so we went with the Samsung Galaxy A32 5G.
Yes.
So it is it comes in at $249, so kind of right in the middle of that price point for everybody. This one's going to have a 6.5-inch screen. It's got the kind of the Infinity V display, so it's a more high pixel density, 13 megapixel front camera.
Excuse me.
It's got 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM. It has everything that you're going to want in a phone. It's going to give you kind of the best all around experience, but you're not going to get some of those bleeding edge features.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to is what's the best bang for your buck in a phone. And at Simple, that's the A32 5G. You're getting the 5G connectivity. You're getting that fast speed for data and
big battery.
Multimedia. Yeah. Big battery. But you're not breaking the bank with the price point.
Yeah. It's a lot of the stuff that people need without the extras of like the want kind of stuff. Like, I can do without the high refresh rate. I'm not a gamer, so that doesn't matter. I don't care about being able to share the battery with my earbuds to charge those up. Those are the types of things that you get when you're looking at the top of the line. Now, some of the features that are in here have, at one time were exclusive to flagships. So this sweet spot, the Galaxy A series in general, is very interesting because it kind of brings yesterday's high-end stuff to the masses.
Right.
And it does very well. Another thing here, this one has expandable memory, whereas
Yeah.
a lot of the flagship phones you're just stuck with what you get.
Right.
So it's 64 gigabytes, but you could put a memory card in there and get up to another terabyte of space.
Sure.
So if you like to take a lot of pictures or play a lot of games, store a lot of files, you've got room to grow on that one. So that is the Galaxy A32. And then last but not least, we picked for the category of productivity.
Mm-hmm.
We picked a Motorola phone.
Yeah.
This is a popular one across other carriers as well. It tends to be the one that we pick. This is the Moto G Stylus.
Yeah.
And this is kind of another one of those, man, it's just a really nice, well-rounded package.
Yeah.
This one comes in at about $180. And it's an Android, I think, 11 phone. Let me double check. One of the big features of this when we say productivity is that, using the stylus, you have the ability to, mark up your documents if you want to, notes, things like that. It's a Motorola phone, so it's pretty much a stock Android experience with a little bit of extras, nothing that's going to really stand in your way. It's not going to be, slow down like software updates. Things aren't going to, be slow to roll out. Nice size battery, 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So along the higher end, 48 megapixel quad camera. So lots of cameras on there.
Yep.
Motorola phones. I mean, we tend to find this G Stylus on a lot of these carrier lists.
Yeah.
One way or the other, it kind of finds its way in there.
Yeah, it's an interesting phone, especially for productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the trade-off on that is it's still just 4G, so you're not going to get the 5G connection. But, if you're somebody that is on the go a lot and you really need the availability of marking up documents or taking notes and doing all that stuff on the go, this is a great phone, especially for the price it comes in at.
Yeah, it looks like normally 200 roughly, but right now it's 180 on their website.
Yep.
So that goes right back down to the argument of, is this a sweet spot phone?
Sure.
For some people it is.
And with this, and we've seen it at other MVNOs too, they have, reconditioned phones too. So, if you're looking for something, if you don't mind something that's been, used and then factory tested and put back out there, you can get something like the Stylus from them reconditioned at $89.99.
Yeah.
So there's options out there. Those four are kind of the ones we recommend for Simple Mobile for depending on what your price point is and really kind of what you care about on phones. But again, like you mentioned before, you can always bring your own phone and things like that. So
yep. So that's 4 of the best phones that we would recommend for Simple Mobile as of technically it's still spring. 2022. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.